and welcome to Labour Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the International Labour Organization Governing Board meeting, which just finished up at Geneva, Switzerland. We also have new stories for you. We will be right back.
Delegates of the 11th Quadrennial National Conference of the Medical and Health Union have elected Kabiru Ado-Sani as President of the Union. Speaking to the theme of discourse of the conference, Nigerian Health System in the Era of Economic Downturn, the President of NLC, Joe Ajaero, and other Labour leaders spoke on the importance of healthcare workers and their role in national development.
The Nigerian health system in the era of economic downturn, issues, challenges, and way forward is very apt. Therefore, not only aptly captures the objective realities that confront the health sector, but is an urgent call to engage and resolve them for purposes of crafting a better future for the sector and Nigeria. The unfortunate socio-economic situation confronting workers, and indeed the masses, have had deep consequences for not just provision of effective healthcare platforms to deliver services to those in need of these services, but for the professionals or workers practicing in the sector. The already poor equipment and general decay of infrastructure in the sector has worsened because of the economic situation, while enumeration of workers have lacked, thus unable to meet the basic needs of workers in the industry. This delegate conference comes at a time of great national adversity and precarity. The state of our national economy and how it affects the health sector is of immense apprehension to many of us as stakeholders in the industry. This conference comes at a very critical time as our organization is faced with unprecedented challenges, especially given the troubled economic times and pervasive insecurity that besiege our country. This state of affairs informed the choice of the theme of the 11th National Delegate Conference of our Union, which is the Nigerian health system in the era of economic downturn, issues, challenges, and way forward. Comrades, the theme of our conference focuses on the challenges that confront us as the burden bearers and decision makers of our great union. The crushing impact of the dire social, physical, and psychological dislocation unleashed by a faltering national economy is real, both in our individual pockets and the union's treasury.
The workers called on the federal government to be transparent in its activities, as workers need to have a clear understanding of its policies.
The 350th session of the Governing Board of the International Labour Organization, ILO, ended after 2 weeks of deliberations on several issues affecting the world of work. The Director General of ILO, Gilbert Ungo, described the theme for the coming 112th International Labour Conference as relevant.
Last year at the conference, we adopted a new recommendation. So it goes without saying that now we have to move into the implementation of those recommendations. But you can expect the discussion on the conference to be on the heart of ILO core issues, labor rights, youth employment, skills, enterprise development, productivity, and so forth.
Nigeria's representative Richard Adejola is the chair of the governing body session and has been deliberating with 187 member countries alongside the Director General of the ILO on ways to improve decent work and enhance fundamental instruments and conventions. The essence of the ILO Governing Board meeting is to ensure an equal voice is given to workers, employers, and government for the view of social partners to be closely reflected in labor standards.
There's an enormous amount of inequality, and actually the problems are only becoming bigger and bigger. At the same time, from the perspective of the workers in the trade unions and also here in the ILO, we see an enormous accumulation of wealth on the side of big corporations.
During the 350th session of the Governing Board of the International Labour Organization, ILO, there was significant progress towards achieving the democratization of the global body.
The issue of promoting decent work in multinational enterprises is very, very apt and important because of the fact that decent work has 4 pillars. One of them is for workers to have social protection. The second one is promotion of social dialogue. The third one is actually the issue of making sure that workers are allowed to unionize and organize. So the 4 pillars of decent work must find space in every workplace, including the multinational, because you know that the multinational operates across borders. And so that's why there is a standard by the ILO to say that in all circumstances we must promote the principle of decent work. So it's very, very important because workers need to have life even after work. That's what it means. For instance, the first pillar which I mentioned, social protection, extension to every worker. So wherever you work, whether in multinational, in enterprise, even individual workers, it is expected that they should have some means of social protection. What COVID have taught us is the fact that there can be some disruption, and anytime there is disruption, the fallback position for workers is to say that there must be a minimum social protection floor in all circumstances and in all employment. So this is what ILO have continued to preach and promote, and that's why this particular issue is being advanced here.
The hallmark and at the center of everything that we do, every agenda item that the workers group comes to the governing body or to the International Labour Conference to discuss, it's rooted in our fundamental belief that decent work and workers' rights, fundamental rights, starting with those, have to be protected. I believe that in the world of work, that workers should have expectations of their representatives, not only in the workers group, but in multilateral institutions like the ILO, that there will be a balance between commitment of countries to achieve higher productivity levels and better conditions for workers. And during the past 9 days at the governing body, we have had the opportunity to express that. We have looked at building out a program of work around occupational safety and health, especially now that safety and health has become a fundamental right since the last ILC. We have had a lot of discussions around the outcomes from an expert meeting that now see language around a living wage being incorporated into the language of the ILO in a more specific way, and that's a big deal. And that's a big deal because for some time there have been countries that have, and employers in particular, that have avoided any mention of a living wage. And what is it? It's simply going to vary from country to country because it is that wage that allows you and your family to be able to provide the basic necessities. And that will vary from country to country, but as a concept, it remains core to achieving decent work. People go to work, give of their best for a decent pay in order to be able to survive, not as working poor, but as people who can confidently and competently address the needs of their family. Of course, we looked at certain things around the war impacting Palestine and Israel, and the ongoing conflict with Ukraine and Russia, because in this house we have to be concerned with those issues because they impact the world of work, they impact the cost of food, they impact access, they impact logistics in many ways. So we have to be concerned with them. And there are issues. I am here as a workers group representative, but I have colleagues even from my region in Guatemala and so on who are suffering for standing up for the rights of people, decent work opportunities for people, they are marginalized, they are imprisoned there, and their families have to become refugees because in their countries, democratization does not support people who speak out and stand up for workers.
On the Profile Interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the Governing Board Chair, International Labour Organization. He spoke about the 350th ILO Governing Board session, which just ended in Geneva, Switzerland. He brought us up to speed on several issues that concern workers, employers of labour, and other social partners. It's good to have you, Sarah, on the program. Your Excellency, sir. It's the third time that you would be chairing the ILO Governing Board meeting in the last 6 months. Can you share with us what your experience has been?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, indeed, it's been a wonderful experience, not necessarily for me, but for what one has come to represent the nation, the African group, as it were, and then and indeed to also demonstrate the fact that there is someone at the helm of affairs that needs to bring together all the pronouncements, all the proposals by all the groups, be it the workers, be it employers, then government as it were. So it's been quite a wonderful experience for me as a person.
There's this keen interest on digitalization and how the world can harness its potential. Would you want to share a bit of what you think should be done in that space for national development?
Yeah, thank you. It's quite needful that we join the bandwagon. At present, it's rather unfortunate that across the world, people are generally online, but then you find that at least the 2.6 billion people are offline. So for instance, in Africa, you have a tremendous amount of people that are still not part of this process. So there is nothing we can do, but this goes to the heart of what government and several organizations must be doing, if the workers' organization and as well as employers, because really don't let us concentrate on what some call the dangers of AI. There may be dangers here and there, but at least you want to concentrate on those areas to the extent that it trends to our benefit is what we should be concentrating on at this point in time. But so we need to begin to address the policies around it, and then the skill set to actually provide the leverage for many people, as we go into the AI technologies. Looking at this and what we know, and it is the ILO has not kept, regarding what constitutes every dissent about the work itself. So you also have to know that the platform economy is there, but how do you account for all the gaps that are there? For now, seized with finding all groups together to at least understand the need for us to address this aspect of decent work. And they also tend to throw jabs at each other because, okay, if you say decent work, so why are you asking me to work till 9 p.m.? I started since morning, is that decent? But you see, it tells a lot of stories that, look, when you are doing it because you're doing it for the purpose of getting everything untangled and different. So, but when it is now within the ambit of employer worker relationship. That's why we need to really speak more on that. And I do believe at the next governing body, this issue would come up, and some are trying to push it forward, some are trying to make it go away. And so, but that's the beauty of ILO itself, because it mimics the globe itself. It's actually a micro aspect of what you see in the. So the discussions are all get there. We'll all get there.
Social justice is one aspect through democracy, the tripartite body towards ensuring that we have decent work.
I must comment organization, but everyone that has really been involved in codifying the concept of social justice, be that as it may. Every pioneering encounter a number of challenges, but the dynamics associated with justice is such that we cannot but address it. A decent work is uniform, and it's not it's universal. What is decent wage in country A will totally be extravagant in country B, because then you find others coming up with all manners of excuses, as it were, that look, it's obscene. So you live in a country where you pay, for instance, $1,000 for accommodation, every month. So but other countries you pay maybe 1/10 of that, less, much less. But I'm very careful to avoid certain words. We all know that a laborer is worthy of his wages. So you have to also justify the fact that this fellow comes around day in, day out. So in what way are you meeting the needs of this worker? So for me, decent work also means that you have put in your efforts, as a worker, and then you have to be met, at a certain point by the employer. But I'm very careful, in ascribing blame to anyone, and that is why it is important to have a body such as ILO, where all this will be discussed, and trust me, all the parameters are always considered. You have experts that do this.
Owing to the fact that it's a tripartite body system that is being that is operated at the ILO, can you bring to fore how you've enjoyed these measures or instruments while ensuring that policies being made meet up to world-class standard in terms of labor laws?
Sorry, let me get to enjoy what instrument.
I completely compile the questions together. Yes, I said tripartism is in full display, of course, and that's what makes ILO unique compared to some other bodies. Can you tell us, as the chair of the governing board, how you've been able to use that particular style? How has it helped your leadership so far?
As an individual, so you used to addressing only the government, but this time around you have to your right the employers, your left the workers, or vice versa. Now you now know that their needs must be taken on board, and then their views and whatever proposals are coming from both ends have to be addressed properly. We distill, and then you now bounce the ideas off the government. So see, as long as you always have a government in the middle, we can't do without government. Workers surely know that whatever to achieve, they have to keep talking to government, and it is important for us to ensure that discussion must continue, negotiations and dialogues. So when we keep those conversations open and we keep them, you and I understand, ourselves and then we know that we are going towards a place, and we know there is nothing we can do without each other. So we need ourselves. But you cannot also say that it is only workers and government, but we are the employers, MSMEs, where are they, so you have to also ensure that they are involved in the conversations, because without these three coming together with one arm of the tripartite organization is missing, and then you cannot take any decision without. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to understand the nature and the tenor of that organization, and the applicability to real life situation is there. So you just have to know that we have different views of life, and then how to now channel that and to arrive at a solution. If I must add, I think ILO is very distinct, because it is totally different from any, if not all, of UN organizations. So I do make fun of the office that perhaps you need to teach other UN organizations a lesson or two about how we arrive at solutions and how we come about.
Finally, what has been your institution?
But you just said that it's a difficult topic. It's actually a bit difficult, but the how it was received, by a group and the other group, I see a lot of tension around. For now, the atmosphere is a bit toxic. But look, we're talking about an issue as far back, 1986. So, but there are other about it, to ensure that everyone, we all feel a sense of belonging, as a member of this global body. So I do believe that in its entirety, there is nothing wrong, in finding an agreeable solution. Yeah, as I said, the atmosphere is a bit toxic for now, but and we'll continue with that this afternoon, incidentally. So and that's why I wouldn't want to say much about it, but to say that it is in the interest of everyone. They say no child left behind. So to ensure that we get the maximum benefit from the organization to which all of us have been committed to in the last how many years now? 1919? Yeah. So it's
So we're 3 decades. Let's just leave it at more than 3 decades.
Exactly. So this is a wonderful organization that must always find solution to its many challenges. But the dynamics are there to ensure that we put in those missing pieces and come to a solution at the end of the day.
Thank you very much for your time. It was an interesting conversation I had with you. And good luck on the so many other meetings that you'll be having as the chair. And congratulations to Nigeria once again.
Yeah. Congratulations to Nigeria. And also, I have to seize this opportunity to thank His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, big as ILO ask you to champion a cause, but it's not you representing the country for the largeness of his heart to ask me to remain to complete this assignment. So I have to seize this opportunity. I know he's so busy. This may be lost in transit, but I just want to seize this opportunity to thank His Excellency Mr. Ben, and then everyone from the Federal Ministry of Labor to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, everyone that is involved.
Thank you very much for your time.
The new Happic sachets, It has a thick formula, so all you need is just one sachet for your toilet bowl. It gives 10 times better cleaning and big savings too.
Wow, Helen!
Sparkling clean toilet with